Hello, Ella.
Hello.
Welcome to the Salonpreneur magazine, the podcast. These chats are just there so we can introduce you to. So I've got things pinging at me again. Hang on, there's my iPad pinging at me because I can't turn that down. So these chats. Sorry, we'll start that again. I can't with my iPads. I can't. My iPad hasn't got an off button.
No, I can never figure out how to turn my iPad
I know,
to
so
make
I'm trying to turn the volume right down. It's the only way I can do it. There you go. It's very annoying. Right, let's start again.
Let's go.
Okay, and interesting how we're just going to do a big bang because then I can see it on the thing. Learned that from Osama bin Laden, weirdly. Seriously, one of the only nice things the man ever did was if you do a big bang, when you then see your sound spikes, you can see it.
Amazing.
Yeah. Anyway, so hello, Ella, and welcome to the Salonpreneur podcast. And just wanting to bring you on so we can talk about your article and also introduce you to everybody. Because although you do work within the salon industry, it isn't your main area of work, but you do have an awful lot of salon owners and beauty business owners that you do work with. So it's one of the reasons that you're here is just to help people understand a little bit about social media, a little bit more about social media and how it can help them in their businesses. And your lovely article in the Salonpreneur magazine was all about how selling with, I'm trying to read it backwards, selling with soul will elevate, I'll do it that way, will elevate your brand and help you to attract your dream clients. Look at the teeth in today. And I know that this is something you're really passionate about because I know on your own social media, everything is very heartfelt and it is all about you. And this is how you built your business. So this is what you then put out to everybody that you work with. So just if you just give us a quick intro to how you got into this and then we can have a chat about the article.
Of course. So, if we take it back to 2023, I was working at Sky in Stockport in the call centre. This was my, just scrambling to get a job because I
Yeah.
needed money. I just kept, no creative job would have me because I had no experience and I was in uni during lockdown, so I couldn't
Yeah.
actually really create many films.
Yeah.
Showcase what I can do. Anyway, I was at the computer one day. I had my call on this screen, Canva on this screen, and I just started designing a logo. And then I was on YouTube as well, and I was thinking there must be something I can do where I can put everything I love into one. I always loved graphic design, video editing. I'd built my own social media accounts. I always loved marketing. I always used to love watching adverts and think I have chosen to do that. Anyways, so discovered that it is a thing. You can do that, be a marketing manager for small businesses. So I just started off by, I joined a new dance class around the time. So I just asked the lady, I was like, can I film for your social media, create some Instagram reels for you? She was happy for me to do that. Then she ended up doing a content shoot in Portugal and she invited me to be the videographer. I was literally just there with my phone. I did buy a camera.
And we should point out as well that your degree was in
film production.
Yeah. Because I know that, but not everyone knows that. And that really does help everything you do so much.
Absolutely, because that's where the spark came from. I would have loved to be a screenwriter for TV. I always wanted to write crime dramas. But you never know.
No, you don't know. There's always other opportunities.
Always. But I love what I'm doing for now. So yeah, I went abroad with her. Obviously, that kind of boosted my page a bit because I was like, oh, I'm going to Portugal to do this. And then got back, got a new job at a creative agency in Manchester. My whole job was to be like a TikTok influencer, promote products. But there I was editing, but I really wasn't confident at the time. So I think through doing that, I learned the sort of content I was putting out was not getting any views, but I knew why. It's because you could tell in me, I was not interested, I wasn't confident, and I didn't really want to be doing it. So that then taught me in order to get the views and get people to fall in love with you and trust you, you really need to work on yourself.
Yeah, massively. So
that job made me redundant. Thankfully, I just started a course. I invested about £5,000 in this social media management course to get CPD certified. And to be honest, I knew a lot about creating content. I just didn't know how to set up a business. So that helped me do that.
Yeah.
When I got made redundant, I had about 2 clients. I think I was earning about £900 a month, if that. And my whole family was like, are you not going to go get another job? And I was like, no.
We're going to make this work.
I was just like, oh, we'll see how it goes. And then since that, I just kept promoting every single day, creating content, got a couple more clients just through Instagram and word of mouth. And then by December, I was fully booked. So
you want, isn't it? And I think as well is, I mean, we're obviously working together on another project with the Salon Business Connect. But and like just the bits of information I've picked up from you is that I love the fact that because you get really excited about Instagram, and I don't like it very much. I struggle with Instagram. It's not my friend. But I think that you talk about it in a way, and you break it down a little bit more for people. And I think that's the nice thing, like with your article, is that everything you're talking about in there, so much of it is about having that heartfelt connection, that's sort of like, leading with your soul, which is so much about, and it's about your personality, isn't it? And about what you're passionate about.
yes, absolutely. If you don't have heart for what you do, or you don't portray that heart through your content. I did a post the other day and it was like, if filming your content feels like a chore to you, it's going to feel like a chore to watch you. Because imagine sitting there and being like, right, hi guys, I've got this offer going on. People are just going to scroll past that. If you're not excited, why should I be excited? So I think it stems further backwards to the point of actually deciding what your business is going to be. And if it's in something you're not interested in, you're probably not going to succeed in it. I always say people do the best at what they love. And you've just really got to, there's a lot of work you have to do in order to be able to show up authentically. Don't get me wrong. I feel like that's a massive part about showing up on socials for your business, because you could love your business and get really excited about it, and as soon as the camera comes out, you shut down.
So, and I think it's a really difficult thing. It took me a long time. I can remember the first time I did a live, and there was a sort of like a subgroup of a massive group I was in, and I'm an admin on that group now. But like Sarah, whose group it was, she'd set up this little subgroup to help some of us. We had one of the coaches that worked that was sort of like frequented the group, and she set up this little subgroup where we could just go and get visible, and there was about 20 of us in there, but we just used to practice going live.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
And but I think it's something that we kind of really still need to do, because I can remember I was on holiday in Vegas, and I was like living my best life at that point. I was in my holiday in Vegas. I was in the Cosmopolitan overlooking the Bellagio fountain, doing my first live to this group, and I was terrified.
I bet. It is terrifying.
And this is going back must have been about 2018, I think, something like that. So it's quite a long time ago. And I just remember just you could feel that surge of like, and all it is adrenaline and cortisol. That's all it is just like, because it's all of that stuff around your gut is just going through your body. Your subconscious is telling you it's going to be a drama and it's going to be awful. You're going to show yourself up and you're going to say the wrong thing. And in actual fact, every human always says the wrong thing. We always do the wrong, we do something weird with our hands, or we breathe a weird way, or we spit when we talk. We do all sorts of odd things when we do that. But I think sometimes that authenticity actually just makes you human. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to have a script. You can just talk. And if you get it wrong, you can just go, oh, I said that wrong. Let's start that again, You just have to kind of go with being human, don't you? And I think people are more forgiving if you make an error and you say the wrong thing and you restart or whatever. I do think people just kind of go, oh, like, God, didn't you feel for them? Because they're putting themselves out there.
That's it. And then they start having this emotional tug towards you. Whereas if you were reading off a script and it all went perfectly, they might have got some really great information from you, but they're probably not going to go away from it thinking, oh, I want her to succeed in life, love her. Which is exactly the sort of thing you need from your potential customers, because there's so much AI going on, like, especially all over social media. And I think that's why this is so important now, because you don't know who you're talking to half the time. So you've got to show up, because if not, AI can create graphics on Instagram for all you know.
AI can remodel you, can't it? I mean, let's face it, all you've got to do is take a photo, put it into AI and say, can you turn that into a video and give it this speech? You can have that done in 20 minutes.
20 minutes. It's insane.
So maybe that's a way of doing it. If you want to go down the AI route, you can do that, but it isn't going to have that human touch, because there's weirdnesses within the AI videos that you do start to realize, actually, no, that is AI.
Yeah, absolutely. Even with graphics and things, like I don't think it's awful to use AI to your advantage here and there if you're using it as a bit of a work assistant. I created a gorgeous cake with my logo on it to launch a giveaway not long ago. It's the first time I've really used AI on my page. And I just thought, you know what, it's great sometimes, but I would never recreate me and put it on there. But I just thought I'm not spending £40 on a cake when ChatGPT can make me one.
Yeah, this is it, isn't it? But I think it's just using it in the right way, isn't it? And then, but having that image of a cake, but having a proper photo of you, or having a video that goes with it of you, of
Yeah,
why you're doing that. And
absolutely.
I do think one of the things that I do is I've got a thing I do called control system, which is like a non-trance hypnotherapy thing. But it helps people, literally, we can just, all of that anxiety, all of that fear, that can be gone, and it can be helped. You could do like a couple of sessions, and like literally you will be sitting on a video being the happiest person ever, because once you lose that fear and that subconscious limiting belief that you're going to mess it all up and it's all going to go wrong and you're going to look silly, because that's what most of the fear of public speaking is that what are people going to think?
Yeah.
Once you lose that, then you can show up authentically being the real you, and not this stressed person who feels like they've got too hot and their face is red or whatever.
Yeah, that's it. Because, you just have those images going around your head. That's just the way it is. And I think you just have to pick what works for you.
Yeah.
And then, it's literally just practicing as well. I said I'd speak at this event last year, and I was terrified to, like, literally terrified. And I woke up on the day and I just thought, I'm just going to go do it. Like, literally, what's the worst that can happen?
Yeah.
I did it, and so many people messaged me after, and they were like, "Wow, you're so confident." I was really taken back by things you said, and I just thought, you know what, fake it till you make it. And I had an argument with someone on TikTok about this recently. Um, a guy commented, and he was like, "No, you can't fake it till you make it, because then you end up in situations that you can't handle." And I just replied to him, and I was like, "Well, I'm saying it based on facts. I've faked confidence, and now I feel confident. So if you've not had that experience, that's your problem." But
yeah,
I don't think it can work.
Yeah, and I do think, I mean, to say, obviously you can't fake being a brain surgeon,
Well,
but
no.
but I do think with things like mindset, you just need to tell your subconscious, actually, I'm okay with this.
Yeah, affirmations in your head all the time. I always practice. I'll put my phone up while I'm taking my makeup off at the end of the day sometimes and just talk to the camera, because the more you practice, the more you just are your natural self.
It just needs to be normal, doesn't it? And I think, we need to, I can remember, even now, I still, it's really weird when I'm doing Zooms like this, don't get it. I don't get the anxiety or the fear if I'm doing a Zoom like this. If I'm in a group meeting and I know I've got to make an important point, oh my God, I can feel that surge of like, oh my goodness me, what if I don't get my point out right? And it's usually if I'm in a professional setting where there's other, like my peers are there, or people that are higher than me or whatever, is that, oh my God, they're all going to think you said the wrong thing. They're all going to laugh at you. And they're not, because they don't, because I do usually have something like quite a good point to make. But it's that internal like limiting belief of like, no, you're going to get this wrong. You're going to really get this wrong. And that's all it is. And you just have to you've just got to learn to get beyond that. And
you got to expand your comfort zone. Otherwise, you will stay inside this forever when really you want to be over there somewhere.
I know it's very, very difficult. So with people, so would you recommend that people do regular lives on Instagram, or that they do pre-recordings and load up the pre-recordings? What do you think is the best way for people to do that?
To be honest, in my kind of network on Instagram, no one does lives. I don't know whether it's a generational thing, whether they just don't like it, but I think showing up on your Instagram story is the best, because there's an element of scarcity to it, because it only lasts for 24 hours. So when people see you talking on that story, they think, oh, well, if I come back tomorrow, I'm not going to be able to see it. So I need to watch it now. And it's there at the top of your profile all the time. And it's kind of like a teaser. People want to click on it just to see what you're up to. People are nosy.
Yeah.
And I just think showing up on there at least twice a week, I always go on, say if I've just parked up in the car and I'm going to go in the shop. It doesn't need to be you sat in a studio setting. Just pull your phone out and say, hi guys, like this is what I'm up to today. Here's a funny story about something that happened. It doesn't even necessarily have to do with your business. Like, you're trying to get your personality across at the end of the day, because these people that follow you are potential clients. And they do of course want to know that you're good at what you do, but I'd say it's 50-50. You could end up landing a client being not quite as advanced at what you do than someone else if you've got the personality over them.
Yeah.
I genuinely think that's true. And you do just get better and better, and you learn to be the right person for each person, if that makes sense. You can show up as yourself, but then when you're on a one-on-one with potential clients, I'd always say, pick up on their vibe and then mirror it.
Yeah. This is, well, that's a bit of classic NLP, a bit of mirroring. Yeah. Yeah, but it's so important, isn't it? And I can remember when years and years ago, I think probably about 25 years, long time ago. I used to work for a company that did a lot of they were management consultants. Right. And they had a lot of NLP training. And I can remember this guy, Peter, sitting with me one day in a restaurant. And he said, right, I'm going to talk to you about NLP. And he started explaining it to me. And then I realized he'd actually been properly mirroring everything I'd been doing.
Wow.
Because he then told me, have you noticed that I kept moving my hand? And I'm like, yeah. And he went, that's because you did that too. Wow. And it's the most weird thing. And it's stuck in my head for a long time. And I've watched lots of salesmen do NLP practice on me.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting. And I'm not saying everyone needs to go off and do an NLP course, but it's really interesting to understand some of the nuances of it. Because when you do mirror your clients, it does put them at ease. And whether that's in the way that they use language or whether that's in like body movements that they do all the time, there's lots of things that you can kind of mirror and just reinforce what it is that they're saying to you.
Absolutely.
It's so it's a really interesting subject when you start going down there.
Philippa, I know, we can talk about that for a long time.
Well, Philippa, who I'm going to be chatting to after you, she's a really serious high level NLP coach. And so we have lots of interesting conversations about it, but she's studied it to like a very, very high level. And it is amazing when you sit with her and you start talking about stuff like that, because it's just fascinating.
I bet I'd love to listen to her. I'll definitely watch that little podcast.
She's got on my Inspiring Salon Professionals podcast, I've interviewed her. I think it's over a couple of episodes because it was like quite a long interview. But she's a fascinating person to talk to about mindset. She does a lot of stuff with United Nations and stuff for women in underprivileged areas and stuff like that. She's a really, really lovely person who gives back a lot. But that whole thing, isn't it? So if they do a couple of Instagram stories a week, because I think as well, like we get obsessed, don't we, with it? We've got to be out there like 3 times a day, and we've got to be doing a video, and we've got to be doing some content, and we've got to be doing this. So what are your top tips for someone? I know, like you were saying, like in the article about, there's like, you've got a bit of a sort of like, there's a few steps that you suggest in the article. So people can go and buy the magazine and go, and then you can read Ella's full description of how she thinks you can show up the soul. But what are your, like, a couple of top points for people to do to win clients on Instagram?
I would say, like you just said, so a lot of people really think they need to be showing up 3 times a day, all the time. But that's just quantity, and people are more likely to get sick of you if you're doing that, and you're more likely to get more unfollowers. Because one, if you're creating content which calls out their pain points, they're going to get sick of feeling offended by what you put out there when they're doing nothing about it. Secondly, it's more about how much quality is in what you're posting. So I post for my clients 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and we do Instagram stories every day. So you are still showing up. We tend to do sales sequences on a Tuesday and Thursday on the stories. So that will just slowly start trying to convert people from when they've just decided that they've got an issue, and then they're going to start looking for who they're going to go to. To resolve the problem. So we'll just kind of, talk to them, soft sales, nothing too harsh. And then throughout the content, say if you are posting 3 times a week, think about the buyer's journey, think about the sorts of people that are going to be having eyes on your account, because realistically, if you look at your view count, it's going to be way higher than likes. Like, there's so many people watching all the time, you just don't see it because they're not interacting. So you need to create content for all stages of that buyer's journey. The people who don't even know they have a problem yet, the people who are trying to decide, should I do something about the problem? And then the people that have decided they are going to do something, that's when you need to start saying, this is why you should pick me. This is definitely why you should pick me. Always put social proof in there, whether say if you're a hairdresser, don't just post a before and after picture of someone's hair. Post a store, like a carousel post, where you talk about, oh, this is how she felt when she came in. She hadn't spent any money on herself in this long. You know, there's always an emotional pull in what I do.
And it's that feature, it's the oh, what's it called? It's the advantages, the features and advantages.
Yes.
Yeah, features, advantages, and benefits, isn't it? Because we especially in our industry, there's such a before, after. This is what they came in looking like. This is what they left looking like. But you need that feel thing, isn't it? Massively.
Yeah, you've got to feel, and also within the beauty industry and the salon industry, when someone, whether they're male or female, books in for a treatment with you, say if it's aesthetics, they're really going out of the comfort zone because they are trusting you with their face. Say if it's waxing, it's very intimate, you know, like you really unveiling yourself there. Even makeup treatments, because say if you go into a big event and it's a massive moment in your life, you want to feel your absolute best. So for content within the beauty industry, you not only need to post what you do and the transformations you put out there, but you need to post about yourself, because this person might be following 5 different aesthetics practitioners, but they're going to be sat in a room with you by themselves, probably feeling a bit anxious and out of their comfort zone. So who is going to make them feel the most safe? And you have to make content about that as well. Like, you know, there's so many elements to it.
And I know one of the big things that and especially if you like, you know, the number of people that are neurodivergent now. You know, we doing those, you know, walkthroughs of where you work, so people kind of get that feel. And it is, and if you're walking through your workplace, you're more likely to be animated and you're more likely to be yourself because you're in a place that you feel comfortable, and you're trying to help someone understand what you do. And I think there's so much, like all those walkthroughs, anything other than before and after photos. I mean, they are useful and they have their place, but you know, you do really, really need to help people understand what it is that you do and why you have so much passion for it.
Absolutely. The heavy on the why you have so much passion for it as well, because I would only ever really go to someone if I know that's like their life's work. They love doing this. Because I don't know if you've ever experienced it, but say, I can't remember who told me the other day, they went to go get their hair done or something, and the lady was literally just saying how much she hates being a hairdresser. And my friend was like,
always a winner.
Get off my hair then, like, what the hell?
Yeah. It's not good, is it? So it's just making sure it's like, I think we just need to make sure that we say who we are, why we do it, and how we're going to make you feel, isn't it? I think they're the key components.
And why you should trust them really over other people. You know, people are always looking to be in safe hands, not only in terms of your personality, but your qualifications as well. So shout about yourself, shout about your transformations, but also show bits of behind the scenes of the business. Because if you are trying to grow a social media account, yes, you want your potential clients to follow you. But if you really want to grow, you can't just be, you know, limited to potential clients. You want other business owners to follow you who feel inspired by you, so you can all collaborate and you know, hype each other up. So create content for them, create funny, relatable content that other beauticians will get. They need to be an array, and then you'll grow
absolutely
as much as possible.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for coming on and having a little chat. It's been really, really lovely having a conversation with you, and I hope that everyone watching when they watch it on YouTube gets lots of value out of it. And we will be doing these each quarter, so you can catch up with Ella next time her article comes out. And thank you so much, Ella.
Thank you, Sue. I'll see you soon. Have a gorgeous day.
And you.